I worked on the qanats in Iran for about 10-15 years, looking at different cities in Iran, finding out that almost every single city in Iran was built around this know-how. And then one day I came across the fact that this infrastructure was not only used in Iran, but it was used to create many new cities throughout history at two different times in history. One at the ancient times, so in antiquity. In antiquity, for example, the city of Alexandria is a city built in Egypt by Greeks using this know-how. And then during the medieval times, when there was the Muslim and Arab expansion across the Mediterranean basin. And I was really surprised myself to find out that Madrid had this network. I had understood that it was existing in Europe through the Arab invasion of Southern Europe, especially Palermo. I had worked on Palermo. And when I found out that Madrid, a European capital, had the same heritage, I was really shocked. And so I applied for a fellowship at the Casa de Velázquez. I had a one-year residency when I started mapping the network and meeting people in Madrid that had worked on the network. For example, archaeologists who had renovated, already revived some pieces of the network. But I was also very disappointed to find out how much memory is being lost and how much of it is being erased. I mean, we're in a situation of erasure in Madrid. I mean, it's easy also to erase this network because it's underground, it's invisible, and but at the same time, I mean, it's like it's like the deep foundation of the city, and the deep foundation of a city is going to tell you a lot about the identity. You know, it's like psychoanalysis, the Freudian way of like deep digging in the past to understand who you are. Yeah, so the relationship with the cosmic garden, and the reason why I'm calling this research, which is actually a professional PhD at the Casa de Velázquez, which I got a grant for, it's from the garden to the cosmic, because when we go back to ancient Persia and how this infrastructure came about in the middle of the desert, and it was a solution for inhabiting a desert, the people that were involved in creating this infrastructure were also stargazers. They are the magi, who are actually very famous in Spain, the magos, the kings, the magi. And they were at the same time water dowsers, and at the same time stargazers. So they actually had extensive knowledge of celestial cycles, and they used the pole star, which is one of the big representations in the exhibition, to calculate all of the solar calendar. So they had the most precise calendar in history that we still use today in Iran, calculating all the equinoxes and the solstices. And in the Persian garden, the drawing of the Persian garden, the very form of the Persian garden, is a direct metaphor of this, the constellation of the Big Bear around the pole star. So it's absolutely amazing to have such a direct link between underground waters and celestial cycles, formed into a space that is not only sacred because it's a garden, but also it's a space for survival. Yeah, so the keys are actually, we were so lucky that the History Museum of Madrid accepted to lend the keys to Casa Árabe for the exhibition, because these are historic relics that many people have not even seen, and that are keys to all of the reservoirs of the qanats of Madrid, because the viajes, basically the galleries run under the city, and then they were directly bringing water into reservoirs, underground reservoirs. And through my research, I found out that most plazas in Madrid are actually places where water was being stored underground. So I started mapping. One of the drawings is actually a map of these reservoirs, and it's just unbelievable. I think that for the future, that's where the research should be really focused on, is to understand what happened to these reservoirs and how we could use them for the future, because they are directly linked to the network. So the keys, we have the keys of Castellana Qanat, and Al-Kubia Qanat. So Al-Kubia Qanat is one of the oldest surviving galleries. It's linked to the north, the very, very north of Madrid, where today there's a convent called Valverde Convent. And the convent is actually built on a well. And there's a whole story about the well and how there was the image of a saint that was seen in the well. So I think all of this is linked to also the way that maybe the Spaniards took over the Arab heritage, linking it to a lot of myths around apparitions and like miracles. This mysterious well in the middle of the convent. So I found that pretty fascinating.